Let us look at your operating specs. You sit down to work, you have the intention, you have the time, but the moment you try to execute a command, write the email, finish the code, your system hangs. The cursor blinks. You pick up your phone, you check a tab. You are not choosing to be distracted. You are experiencing a hardware failure. We call this procrastination or laziness. Those are moral judgments. They are useless. If your laptop overheats and shuts down, you do not call it lazy. You check the RAM usage. Your brain is no different. In the next few minutes, we represent the exact biological specs of your processor, how dopamine acts as your system voltage, and the 2 elite, deployment-ready, tiny habits to clear your cache and restore processing speed. Welcome back to Tiny Habit Health. Let's go. First, clarity. To fix your focus, you have to stop treating your brain like a magical mystery box and start treating it like the biological machine it is. We need to strip away the psychology of willpower and look at the engineering of capacity. We are analyzing a specific subsystem today, the prefrontal cortex and the striatum. In computer terms, this is your CPU, the central processing unit, and your RAM. When you cannot focus, it is not a character flaw. It is a system error. It is a misalignment between the software you are trying to run and the hardware constraints of the machine. You cannot fix a system error by yelling at the computer. You have to understand the architecture. Let's look at the specs. Here's the first hard truth about your hardware. Your RAM sticks are much smaller than you think. Decades of cognitive research have pinned down a specific number regarding how much data you can hold in your head at once. We used to think it was 7 items. New research suggests that number was optimistic. It is 4. Most adults can actively process about 4 chunks of information in their working memory at any given moment. That is your biological limit. If you try to load a 5th chunk, the first one falls off the stack. Now attack vector 1, multitasking. When you try to listen to a podcast, check email and write a report simultaneously, you are not doing them at the same time. You are rapid switching. You are forcing your CPU to dump the current RAM content, fetch new data, and load it up. This creates a switch cost. Every time you switch, you burn glucose, your brain's primary fuel source. If you open 40 tabs on a laptop with limited RAM, the fan spins up and the system freezes. That is exactly what brain fog is. It is metabolic friction. You have exceeded your bandwidth. But here's the thing. You are not just overloading the RAM with active tasks. You are overloading it with open loops. This is known as the Zeigarnik effect. Biologically, your brain keeps a portion of your RAM allocated to every single unfinished task. The unpaid bill, the unanswered text, the weird noise your car is making. These are all running in the background. This is why you feel exhausted at 2 p.m. despite sitting in a chair all day. Your system idle process is running at 90% capacity, just trying to hold on to all that data. You're trying to run high-performance software on a system that is already redlining. Now let's talk about the power supply. People think dopamine is just the pleasure molecule. That is a gross oversimplification. In the context of focus, dopamine is your system voltage. It is the signal-to-noise regulator. When your dopamine is too low, the signal is weak. This is the boredom state. Your neurons are not firing with enough strength to maintain the data in your working memory. But here is the unspoken truth about the modern environment. We are not suffering from low voltage. We are suffering from voltage spikes that fry the circuit. High stimulation environments, like social media and constant notifications, create massive, artificial spikes in dopamine. These are super stimuli. When you flood the system with cheap dopamine, your brain does what any smart circuit does to protect itself. It blows a fuse. It literally reduces the number of dopamine receptors to prevent overexcitation. This is the crash. After a 20-minute scroll session, you do not feel energized. You feel numb. You cannot focus on your spreadsheet because compared to the voltage spike you just experienced, the spreadsheet is a low voltage signal. Your downregulated receptors literally cannot detect it. You are not weak. Your attention system is being hacked. These apps are designed to be biological disruptors. They hijack your attention, spike your voltage, and leave your hardware fried. You cannot willpower your way out of a blown fuse. You have to repair the circuit. So we have a system with limited RAM and a fried power supply. How do we fix it? You do not need a PhD. You need tiny strategic upgrades to manage your system resources. Here is the playbook. The goal is not perfection. It is shifting the ratio of internal to external storage. Since your RAM holds only 4 items, stop using it for storage. Use it for processing. Here's your action step, the cache clear. Before you start any deep work block, take 5 minutes. Get a physical piece of paper. Write down every single open loop in your head. The email, the groceries, the car noise. By writing it down, you tell your brain that this is saved to the hard drive. You can close the background process. You instantly free up bandwidth for the task at hand. Second, we need to stabilize the voltage. Here's the tiny habit. The analog anchor. For the first 60 minutes of your day, do not engage with high voltage digital inputs. That means no email and no social media. If you spike your dopamine the second you wake up, you set a high baseline that the rest of the day cannot match. You are setting yourself up for a crash before you've even had coffee. Let your brain boot up in safe mode. Elite level perspective requires nuance. I'm not saying throw away your phone. I'm saying don't let it be the first thing that wires your brain in the morning. Small percentage shifts compound into massive biological wins. When you treat your focus like a finite resource, when you respect the RAM limit and protect the voltage, you aren't just working harder. You are working in alignment with your biology. Comment below with the one background process that is draining your battery right now and the tiny step you will take to offload it today. If you are serious about building elite health through sustainable habits, subscribe to Tiny Habit Health, smash the like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss a breakdown.